Welcome back into the 811 Nashville Sports Radio 560 and 95.9 FM for the second hour of the show.
Quality.
Well, we get a chance now to talk with one leader of it's not even a business, it's a league, guys. It is the Tennessee Association of Vintage Baseball. And if you guys have not looked them up yet, or if you're listening and if you've never heard of them, just type in your browser TennesseeVintageBaseball.com and look these guys up. It is one of the coolest ideas and really coolest things that I've seen in a very long time. We get a chance now to talk with William Trapper Haskins. We're just going to call him Trapper, who is the co-founder and vice president of the league, and he's the captain for the Franklin Farriers. He joins us now here in the 811. Trapper, welcome in, buddy. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
The first question that I have for you is, where did this idea spawn from? Where did this whole thing come from, and how quickly did it come together?
It came together very quickly. The idea for doing it in Nashville was sort of the brainchild of myself and Michael Thurman. This sport has been played for a number of years in the Midwest and the Northeast. But there really weren't any clubs down south here, so we met online through a vintage baseball website and put it together. I think over Oktoberfest of 2012, we'd never met each other, got together, had a few beers, started talking about old timey baseball, and last spring really launched this thing in earnest. So it's taken off since then.
Hey, Trapper, I'm going to your website right now, and the first question that's on there is the difference between a vintage baseball. So what is a vintage baseball?
We play by the rules as they were in 1864, and the rule book was much slimmer then. I believe I don't have it in front of me, but there's probably only maybe 39 rules or something that encompass the entire game. And so we wear period uniforms, which would be reproductions of uniforms that would have been worn during the Civil War era. Again, we play by 1864 rules, and it's largely the same game. There's a few minor differences. One of them being that we don't wear gloves. It's barehanded Civil War era baseball. So there's no leather, no leather between your hand and the glove. That makes it kind of interesting.
Even a catcher?
Well, it's an underhand delivery.
Oh.
The overhand delivery didn't start until about the 1880s. The rule book that we play by states it has to be an underhand lob, so it's not even like a fast pitch softball. It's an underhand lob. Back in the day, it was more of a fielding game. You really didn't have the pitcher batter duels. It was more of a fielding game. So even the catcher.
How about are you still doing the metal spikes?
Well,
because that can get nasty.
It can. That's one of our concessions. Back then, they would not have had spikes. We allow cleats. We prefer people not to have metal spikes. But one thing we try and do is if people are going to wear cleats, we ask that they black them out. You know, if you got a Nike swoosh or some sort of logo on it, we just want the shoes to be black because they didn't even have cleats in the day. They would have worn, some sort of boots or something like that to play in. So
that's great stuff. We're talking with Trapper Haskins. He's the co-founder and vice president of the Tennessee Vintage Baseball. Is it the association or what is the actual? What do you guys call it? Is it because I'm seeing
the website is TennesseeVintageBaseball.com, but we are the Tennessee Association of vintage baseball.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
All right. Well, when you guys go out and basically play, who do you play against? You've come up with like your own league across the state?
Yeah, so we started this thing last year with two teams. There was the Nashville Maroons, which, by the way, is based on an actual team that played in Nashville in the 1860s. And then our team, the Franklin Farriers. Williamson County really didn't have an organized team, so we've sort of fictionalized a team from that era. So we started last year with two teams. We capped the rosters at 15 players. So we had a total of 30 guys, and the idea was build enough interest in this thing to perhaps double it the next year and get 4 teams. We had so many people wanting to sign up. We got emails from Memphis to Chattanooga to Knoxville that we've actually grown from 2 to 8 teams this season. We're playing. I got 2 teams in East Tennessee and 6 of them here in Middle Tennessee. So we got 8 teams playing at 6 different venues throughout the summer.
Wow.
Trap, I know you already know this, but guys, did you know that they only play with 1 ball? So if there's a foul ball, guess what?
Somebody's got to go running.
You got to give it back.
I like that. I like that. That's just like when we were kids. If your ball went, I played in Camden, and when the ball went in the gutter, somebody had to hold you by the feet and hang you down in there and get that ball, or the game was over. So that's I'm all for the 1 ball. Trap, I got a question. Do you have guys that take it a little literal, and they have like the old timey twisty mustache, or guys like that? Do guys take it that seriously?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's a great mix of guys, because we've got some guys that are they're interested in the history of baseball, but they're really athletic, competitive sort of guys. There's other guys in the league that are competitive, but they're maybe more interested in the reenactment side of it. And we had a really good mix of guys, a really good mix of ages. Last year, our youngest player was 22. Our oldest player was 72. So it sort of runs the range. But, there's guys that wear period boots, what they would call brogans, which are like Confederate-era boots. I myself have a pair of spectacles. I wear glasses, so I didn't figure the horn rims would work for vintage baseball, so I've got some little round glasses that I wear. But, we take the reenactment side of it pretty seriously. We like to say in between the lines, it's 1864. We certainly interact with the crowd. I love talking to folks and explaining any rule differences to them. But when we're between the lines, it's 1864, and that even goes as far as the lingo. There's no taunting the other team or anything like that. In fact, we would encourage the other team. I play first base, and if a guy gets a really nice hit, I might go over and shake his hand and say, well struck, and we encourage our team to show some ginger and things like that, sort of terminology that would have been used back in the day. So
this is great stuff. You guys got to go online, check out the uniforms, check out the information about them at TennesseeVintageBaseball.com. All right, Trapper, when do you guys get started back up here?
So, spring's upon us. We're opening the season in Knoxville on Saturday, April 12th at the Ramsey House, and then the following day, Sunday, April 13th, is going to be opening day here in Middle Tennessee at Bicentennial Mall. I think it starts off with the Nashville Maroons playing the Stewart's Creek Scouts, and that's one of the things I'd like to point out. Where we play, not only do we try and have the uniforms and the rules of the game be 1864, but we try and play at venues that would sort of fit that era as well. We don't play on dirt infields or ball fields with chain link fences. We like to play at historic venues. So our team, the Franklin Farriers, for instance, we play at Carton Plantation. The Nashville teams play at Bicentennial Mall. The Stewart's Creek Scouts, which is the Murfreesboro/Smyrna team, they play at Sam Davis's home. So it gives the game a more pastoral look like it would have had back in the day. And I might also say the games are completely free. There's no ticketing involved. You just bring out a lawn chair or a blanket, a picnic, and bring the family out. So one of our mottos is no spitting, no swearing, no gloves. So you don't have to worry about bringing the kids out for anything unwholesome. This is perfectly wholesome and it's perfectly free. So.
Trap, did I hear you say that there's a Nashville Maroons team?
Correct.
Now, see, that's my high school mascot, the Moline Maroons, and I thought that they were the only Maroons in the entire country. Come down here and find out there's a Nashville Maroons.
Now, where's that school?
That's in Illinois. It's in
Illinois.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Right
Well, that was I don't know how old the school is, but that was kind of a big thing back in the day. If you look at the early baseball teams, you had
their colors, yeah.
The Louisville Grays, the Nashville Maroons. It was a big thing to just you would typically name it after the color of your bib on your shirt or your socks.
You just taught me something.
Like that.
You just taught me something. That's probably where
also Syracuse and Harvard, and that's why you see them with the red and things like that. Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
St. Louis Browns.
Got to give our local companies here some love too, because I did see that. I guess you guys have some pretty unique bats in the Vintage Baseball League there, and the Smacker Bat Company down there in Murfreesboro is usually the supplier of that. So talk about him.
Absolutely. He contacted us when we first got started. There's a couple of bat makers. I guess I should first say that the bats that we use, the rules state that the maximum diameter is 2.5 inches. Nowadays, people are typically using bats that are about 2 3/4 inches. So these bats are a little bit narrower.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of companies, the Cooperstown Bat Company up in the Northeast makes them, but there's a guy here locally in Murfreesboro that turns some amazing bats, Smacker Bat Company. He turns contemporary bats for some guys that are in the major and minor leagues, but he contacted us, and we were fortunate enough to work out a sponsorship with him. So we get all of our bats through him. They're available on his website. I think he's got a Facebook page too, but I guess it's called Smacker Bat Company. And Brian is the owner's name, and he's a craftsman, man. They're amazing bats.
Is anybody sporting a Wonder Boy?
a Wonder Boy.
Yeah, from The Natural?
Oh.
Little Robert Redford Wonder Boy going on there.
Yeah, with the wood burning
with the
on it.
Sure. But I do want to ask, when it comes to the equipment, the ball itself, that's not like, you're not going to see a Rawlings logo on that ball, right?
No. So in fact the stitching's different. If you look at our website, there's probably a few pictures on there. But through the 1860s and most of the 1870s, they had what they called the lemon peel stitch. So nowadays we're used to seeing that figure 8 sort of stitching where the two panels come together. These balls were actually one panel cut in a star shape that sort of folded up. The ball is slightly larger, but not very much. And like you guys were talking about earlier, we use the same ball from the first pitch to the last. So if somebody knocks the stitching off of it, if it gets hit in a water puddle and it gets sort of muddled and oblong, we're going to play with it the entire game. So it's sort of, the ball kind of softens up as the game goes. So it's a very organic, very organic sort of sport. But if I could, one thing I'd like to go back to quickly with the rules and talking about using that same ball, it seems like it would be impossible to play in the outfield without a glove. One of the defining rules of vintage baseball, at least 1864 baseball, is that you can catch the ball on one bounce and the batter is still out.
Wow.
So that makes for some exciting plays in the outfield, if you can imagine hitting a long fly ball to the gap. The Maroons have a left fielder, Peach, and you just can't get one by him. You can hit it a mile away from him, and he's going to chase it down before it hits the ground the second time. So it makes for some fantastic plays.
That's great stuff. Well, Trapper, we appreciate you joining us this morning here in the 811, and we will definitely try and make our way out to a couple of the games this year.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me, and people can check out our schedule at TennesseeVintageBaseball.com.
See you, Trap. Thank you, Trapper.
Yeah, you can also follow them on Twitter as well, and I would encourage you to do so. It's a pretty cool thing. Check it out, TennesseeVintageBaseball.com. Again, thank you to Trapper for joining us this morning. This is the 811.